Thank you for taking the time to take a look at my proposal for adding online courses to the Dunklin R5 school district. Here I have listed some of the rationale for adding these online classes. First one, and probably the one that I find to be most important, is additional classes offered to the students. A lot of our students in the district don't have the opportunity to have a lot of elective classes or a lot of higher level classes when they get into the high school. So this just gives us an opportunity to bring those classes to the students. Comfort and security from learning at home. Some of our students don't like the large classroom environment and would rather have more of a self-paced from their home classes offered. Students will be able to gain great skills in time management because a lot of the courses will be more of a self-paced learning. They'll still have the structure, but the students will have to go out on their own to get the work completed. An increase in digital literacy just from using the programs and having to do a lot of the work via the internet. We also have classrooms being utilized in new ways. So if we can take some of our students out of our classrooms, we can change these classrooms into more lab settings or just removing the desks and offering new ways for students to learn without having to sit behind a desk when they are in the brick and mortar classroom. The next one, the cost savings over the brick and mortar. We won't have to be using as many classrooms, so we'll have a decrease in some of our electrical use, heating and cooling, if we can lessen the amount of students in our building. We could also talk there about the cost savings of transportation for the district as well, and we can move those funds into different areas to more benefit the students learning directly than in such areas as transportation. Improved digital communications, giving the platform for the students to have their voices heard. And then the last one I have there, which sort of ties into the top one, is we could share these online classes with neighboring school districts. Here in Jefferson County, a lot of the districts here struggle with their tax base. So if we can collaborate with all these schools and pool some of our resources, I think we'll be able to offer a lot more to our students. Student learning. The online learning, it doesn't mean that they're going to be self-taught. Rather, it's going to be a student-driven learning where the students will have a guide and they'll have the instructor to assist them, but they're going to be the ones working on their learning and not listening to a teacher or being in that classroom setting where they don't get to sometimes do that research on their own. One-to-one teaching with communication. Just because we're online doesn't mean that the students are going to be on their own and not have the educator or the professional to help them out. We'll have chat times included in these classes where the students will meet as a class where we might have 15 students in one class, and they'll have that time online to collaborate with each other and the teacher. And then we'll also have office hours where the teacher will be online and the students can connect with them and have that one-to-one discussion. Even if it's over the computer, they'll still have that FaceTime where they can talk sort of privately with that teacher about some of the concerns they have with their class. The live group discussion and discussion boards. So the virtual classroom, I sort of touched on this with when I was talking about the one-on-one, but having those platforms such as Zoom, where all of the students will be able to work with each other as well as the teacher on having those open conversations where they're learning from one another and not just out doing the work on their own. Multiple level learning. With the online platform, we will have the capability for students to work sort of at their own pace. And those students that are gaining the information rather quickly can continue moving on, where some of them that might be struggling will have a pacing guide to keep them on, but they will still be receiving the same instruction as those that are moving forward. So the ones that can get that extra will be able to have it. And then the same rigor as brick and mortar. So we're not changing what we're teaching them, we're just changing the format of how they're being taught it. So instead of showing up every day in the classroom, they will have the ability to stay at home and receive the same education. The budgeting for this. So luckily our school has done a great job over the last several years of gaining the necessary hardware for this, because we have the one-to-one laptop program. And with that, the students can take that laptop home and use it from their personal environment. Also, we won't have a lot of cost in setting up our platform for the students to take the class. We'll just implement the Google Classroom for this, and then in addition to the Google Classroom, we also have our textbooks with their platforms that we will be able to use as well. So we have no great cost in our hardware and our software. I can also talk a little bit about the E-rate, where a lot of our hardware, we're getting a significant reduction in the cost of that due to E-rate. Training for this. So depending on how we manage these classrooms and who we utilize as the teachers for these classrooms, I think if we were to offer a week session in the summer for teachers to do some training on how they really want to offer their online classes and give them the opportunity to change the curriculum that they use to that more online setting, we could probably do that in a week, and we're paying the staff $25 an hour for that training purpose. So that would be one of our initial large costs that we'd have to work through. And then additional staff. We might be able to as well just use some part-time teachers for this. And this sort of goes back to the idea of district sharing. So if we want to offer a higher level calculus class to our students, and we might only have 5, 6 students within our district that want to take this, but then the neighboring districts have the same, we can pool those resources and pay a part-time teacher to offer this class. So these are some of the ideas I have for incorporating online learning into our district. I hope this proposal starts some good discussion within our district to adding online classes to our district. Thank you very much.